Hello, my true crime lovelies. How are you? I hope you are as lovely in life as I imagine you to be in my mind. It is Monday. It is the February 24th. It is a balmy, it's not really balmy, it's 38 degrees Fahrenheit here in New York. And apparently the girls, Liberty and Justice, want to talk to y'all. But we're going to talk about the Jared Bridegan murder case today. Some of you guys may have heard of it as the Microsoft exec or the Stampin' It Up, heiress murder, whatever you know it by. We're going to go through all of that. It's got all of the true crime bits, right? It's got some Florida stuff. It's got some LDS stuff. It's even got funeral potatoes. So I'm going to roll the intro. While I do that, since you're here, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, hang out for a while. I'm Tanika, and I'm about to give you my 2 cents. Shout out to all the members. I've got a new one coming up because we've got a lot of new members, so I will update that intro. But thank you for all the members. I appreciate your support. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into Jared Bridegan and his unfortunate unaliving. It's a heavy one, but his widow, Kirsten, she's a fighter, and I'm here for it. But we'll get into that. Okay, Jared Bridegan. He was born June 29th, 1988, and he lost his life on February 16th of 2020. He's a father of 4, 2 twins, and then he has 2 daughters with his now widowed wife, Kirsten. So what happened? Let's talk about this. On the evening of February 16th, 2022, Jared Bridegan had just dropped off his 10-year-old twin son and daughter at his ex-wife's home in Jacksonville Beach. His ex-wife is Shanna Gardner Fernandez Santana. We'll get to her. And he was headed back to St. Augustine where he lived. He had his 2-year-old daughter in the back seat. He stopped because there was a tire in the road near the exit of the sanctuary neighborhood. And the neighborhood, like right where the tire was, the road narrows and then becomes a one-way. So that's going to be important because it had to do with timing, right? Like, how did the person know when to put the tire there? Because obviously, if someone else moved it, then the plan is foiled. But as he got out to move the tire out of the way, he was shot multiple times right in front of his daughter. Her name is printed here. I'm not going to say it. I only have it printed here because there's a box that her mom created named after her, and I'll get to that, which is why the mom is very, very strong, and I am glad that the daughters have her to steer them because there's a lot of stuff that they're going to have to deal with for the next several years. Well, for the rest of their lives because their dad is gone, but specifically regarding their siblings and their siblings' mother. Court documents say that several bullets came within inches of hitting the youngster who was strapped into her car seat. Bridegan and his ex-wife divorced in 2015, but had been involved in court battles over custody of their twins and finances. And she's an heiress. Remember that. Shortly before 8 p.m., February 16th, 2022, Bridegan was found lying in the road of the 4000 block of Sanctuary Boulevard in Jacksonville Beach, dead from multiple gunshot wounds. Immediately before his murder, Bridegan had dropped off his 9-year-old twin children. Uh-oh, it says 9 there and it says 10 there. I believe they were 9. It was late at night when I was putting this together. I believe they were 9, whom he shared with Gardner at the home that she shared with her husband, Mario Enrique Fernandez Saldana. This was part of a routine date night Bridegan had with the twins and his 2-year-old daughter from his current marriage. Consistent with the route he normally traveled home, Bridegan turned onto Sanctuary Boulevard to access J. Turner Butler. At a dark stretch of road, he encountered a tire in the middle of the road. Police said after noticing a tire in the dimly lit street, he got out of his black Volkswagen Atlas SUV to remove the tire that was obstructing the roadway when he was shot at close range in front of his 2-year-old, which is crazy. I think she was like 2.5, but that's neither here nor there. It's still tragic. And so then she was in the back of the car. The gunman left. Jared still had his flashers on, his, what do you call it, the hazard lights, because he had, he was getting out to move the tire. He didn't want someone to rear end him or not see him because his child is in the car and it was going to be quick. And so she knows he's hurt. Like, she has that level of awareness. I think she said something like, Daddy was sick, but she doesn't know what to do. And she's strapped in her car seat, so she can't get out. So she was there at the mercy of whoever, whenever. So someone heard the gunshots and they called and they came and got her. So the box that her mom has created, I'll just say Bridegan box because I don't want to say her first name. But now they have them. And so I'll put the link in the description if you guys want to donate. I think it's a really good cause. I'm going to donate. But basically, they have boxes at police stations that have things like diapers of different sizes and toys and blankies. And like the mom said, the police did the best that they could, but it was, they weren't prepared to have a 2-year-old there. And they started to figure out who her dad was and like how to get hold of the next of kin. Why was he there? And for a while, they didn't release his name. They didn't want to say because they were still trying to contact people. But imagine being 2.5, a little kid, and your dad being shot in front of you, and you're stuck in a car that's turned on with its hazards on in the middle of a dark road, and something bad is outside, whether it's a person or a sickness or whatever it is, something has taken hold of your father. Okay, let's get into who Jarrett was. He was a software engineer. He's cited in the media as being a Microsoft executive. I've also seen that he was a software developer. I mean, by their definition, I'm technically an executive, but hey, I'll go with it. I think he was like in leadership at Microsoft. So, and he worked remotely, I believe. So he was born, like I told you guys, in 1988 in Missouri. His mom died when he was young, right? She died in 96. So he was 11? Yeah, she was 53. So she's my age and she passed away. So I'm not sure. I will say that kind of develops a pattern for he has a missing feminine energy in his life. And so it may make him more needy in a relationship. I don't know. I'm just like highlighting that his mom died at a young age. Doesn't mean he's a bad person. I'm just saying that happened. So then he married Shanna in 2010 in Salt Lake City, Utah. And they lived in Ponte Verde Beach in Florida. And then Jacksonville, Florida. And then he married Kirsten in 2017. And this is Kirsten here. And this is his daughter. He's holding his daughter in this picture. This is the one that was with him when he passed. And then we'll go into his obituary. 33 of St. Augustine, was tragically taken from his family and friends on February 16th. Jarrett was born to Gaylord and Joanne Bridegan on June 29th, 1988 in Warrensburg, Missouri. He moved with his family to Jacksonville at a young age and graduated from the Douglas Anderson School of the Arts with the class of 2007. Oh, my goodness. That makes me old. I went to a school of arts, but years before for high school. He attended Utah Valley University, graduating in spring of 2014 with a BS degree in digital media with an emphasis in cinema production. A man after my own heart. Jared had a long-time interest in videography and was an accomplished user experience designer. He served as a senior UX designer at Canopy, director of UX. Oh yeah, so he was a director of UX at web.com, chief technology officer at Clean Simple Eats, and was currently a senior design manager at Microsoft. Okay, so technically I'm above a manager. I don't know why I'm inserting myself in his story. It helps me release tension I don't know. It just is like, this one was hard for me. I'm going to hold it together for this, but this one I don't know why. This one really, it was rough. His highest purpose in life, however, was his role as husband to Kirsten and as father to his 4 children. So the first 2 names are the twins, and the second 2 are the little girls that he had with Kirsten. In a recent Facebook post, Jarrett summed up his priorities in life. First was his relationship with his heavenly Father and his Son, Jesus Christ. Second was his relationship with his eternal companion, best friend, and wife, Kirsten. And third was the privilege of being the father to his children. These priorities and his firm belief that one day he would kneel before the Savior to give an accounting of his life on earth shaped his every decision, and what a difference it made. Jared was an awesome husband, father, son, and friend to many. More than anything in life, he enjoyed He enjoyed spending time with his children, building a playhouse in the backyard, creating a laser tag arena in the garage. Jared seemed to have endless energy, creating memories with his children. He seems like a very hands-on dad, which I'm a fan of. One of his favorite hobbies was home improvement, especially when working alongside his wife. They handcrafted wooden beams for the master ceiling, built a custom fireplace, which I believe that's a fireplace in the picture, which is why I put the picture here, an office desk, shiplapped walls, and so much more. Jared was also the guy in the neighborhood who would loan you his tools and then show up to help you with your project. He was funny, happy-go-lucky, and even a bit shy, but a powerful presence in the lives of those he loved. He recently served in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as a Sunday school teacher to 11 and 12-year-old youth who expressed gratitude for the fun he brought to church through his creative object lessons and humorous stories. He is survived by his wife, his children, his parents. So it says Gaylord, and this is how it was in the obituary, so I copied it exactly. His sister Ashley Jenkins and her husband Mike of St. George, Utah. Brothers Justin Bridegan and his wife Gwen of Jacksonville, Adam Bridegan and his wife Carly of Draper, Utah, and maternal grandmother Josephine Krez. So the brother Joseph Bridegan and his wife Gwen introduced Jared to, oh my God, what's her name? Shanna? I'm messing up the girl's name. Shanna introduced him to Shanna. And so that is how they met. So they had a service. Now, the thing is with the service, and this one, it is a little bit, what do I want to say? What is the right word? I don't know what the word is. Strained. We'll say strained, and we'll go with that. They asked Shanna, they being Kirsten and the Bridegan family, not to attend the memorial services for Jared. There was just a lot of bad blood. They had been arguing. They just asked for her not to come. And as a result of that, she forbade the twins from attending their dad's memorial service, which is kind of cruel because it's only going to happen once. And then they would get to be around the people that they loved. I understand that some people feel like their child is an extension of them. And if they can't go, I can't go. But if you're, and I don't agree with that philosophy, but if you follow that philosophy, they're also a part of the dad. Do you know what I mean? And that's like their last goodbye and sharing memories. And, I don't know. It's petty to me. That's what I want to say about it. It's petty. So, but it fits in the same way that Wendy not allowing her children to hang out with the Markells, right? I think the court's going to frown on it. I don't think it bodes well. All right. The divorce. So let's go back to these two. Like I said, they were married in 2010, divorced in 2015. She's from Utah. She met him while she was visiting Florida in 2009. They were married the next year. She stated they were both single. He flew out to Utah to take her on a date. The date did not go well, but she says he kept pursuing her. I've seen things, and listen, it's in Reddit. The tea is that she was pursuing him and started like love bombing him and sending him a bunch of gifts and really couldn't understand why he wasn't into her and I guess was going to buy his love. I don't know, but that's
what the word on the street is.
They got married in 2010 in Salt Lake City. At some point, they moved to Connecticut and started having trouble involving her and her personal trainer, according to Fox News. Although she denied that to Times Union, she didn't go to Fox and deny it, that she had an affair. She filed for a divorce in February 2015 and sought primary custody of their twin children. Gardner stated they had kids, which was a huge strain due to her son's illness. They moved from Utah to Connecticut due to him having a medical condition that required them to be close to his specialist. Once he was stable, they moved to Jacksonville, where Jared's family was from, so they could help with the kids. And then there's his brother's there, the wife is there, right? So he has more support, presumably other children that his children can hang out with, like their cousins, right? So less than a year after moving to Jacksonville, they got divorced and Shanna left the Mormon church. Now, when she left the church, her parents were not happy and they cut her off. And so at that point, then she started to have to work like all these jobs and figure things out. She's newly divorced. She had, basically she's a trust fund baby, right? They were issuing checks and they cut it off. She said that he drained her accounts and that the divorce was very traumatic. And I pulled this from police reports when she was talking to them. So that's where I'm getting this data from. She stated that it was traumatic since he refused to move out of their house. And the whole thing with the house is she took money out of her trust, is what she alleges, to buy the house. And then when she bought the house, it became marital assets. But for her, it was still hers. But that's not how the law works. Like, she certainly could have purchased the home in her trust, like in the name of her trust, which she eventually ended up doing when she went back. Well, when she went to where her parents were in Washington, and we'll get to that. So it's just like they were very much like at each other's throats, nickel and diming each other. And yeah, whatever. So he had a good job. He was making good money. She took him to court asking for child support since she was struggling to pay the bills, working the 3 jobs. She said he threatened to quit his job and move back to Jacksonville to not pay child support, which he did. I don't know that, again, that's her statement. I don't know that it is substantiated by anything, right? Amid all of their fights and whatever else was going on, she decided to unalive him. And here are the 3, the accused, and they are all stand trial charged with conspiracy to commit murder, second-degree murder with a weapon, accessory after the fact to a capital felony, and child abuse, because the little one was there and witnessed it all and then was stranded until help could come. And so obviously Shanna is the ex-wife. Mario Fernandez, it's Mario Enrique Fernandez Saldana, is her now estranged husband. They're alleging that at the time of the murder, they were starting to get a divorce, but they were still living together for the kids. I don't know, but they're being tried together, right? And then Henry Tenon is the alleged trigger man. He confessed to that. He recently withdrew that confession, but we'll get to that. Probably not in this video. I want to lay all of the foundation, but all of this is in my head, so it keeps popping out. So he was the, hold for the sirens. He was alleged to be the trigger man. You see, he was the first one arrested. So the first clue that they had about anything going on, they did a lot of tracking. There was a tire at the scene, right, that was pulled off or in the middle of the road. I'm guessing Tenon must have moved it. Obviously, Jared didn't get to move it. Maybe he dragged it a little bit off to the side. Either way, people weren't going to be able to pass because the Volkswagen SUV was in the way. But what they found, the tire also had the rim in it, which is weird, right? Because if you, in my experience, you leave a tire behind, it's like an old discarded tire. It's not like your spare tire just fell off, right? So it had the rim. The rim was specific to a type of truck. I believe it was a Ford F-150. Anyway, it was specific to that truck. And then apparently there's like a DOT number inside. And so it had inside of the tire, I believe. So that means, they could track it from that DOT number, right? They're sold in lots or whatever. And so I think it was the lot number. First clue they had was that there was a blue truck. They got down to a blue truck. And so then they put a call out and they started showing this video of that blue truck. Anybody with any information on that blue truck. So this is entering and exiting the area at the time of the murder. They know that he probably laid in wait, again, because of the narrow road. Someone else would have been moving the tire if not coordinated exactly right for it to be Jared after dropping the kids off. So there was some sort of coordination there, right? And then they finally have a break. They find that the connection between Henry Tenon is he is a tenant of Mario Enrique Saldana Fernandez. And so they go there. In the yard, out in plain sight, they see a tire and they are able to verify that the number in that tire matches the number of the tire that was found at the scene, right? And the rim is there. So eventually they're able to arrest him. Obviously, they don't have a search warrant at that point. They were going to get asked questions or someone else there. It's unclear if he's actually a tenant or if he's renting a room or maybe Mario is running a boarding house. Something is a little bit odd there. Yeah, that's what we have. And so luckily they were able to catch him. And then they made this announcement.
Good morning. Thank you for being here today. My name is Gene Paul Smith and I'm the Chief of Police, Jacksonville Beach Police Department. I'm joined by several men and women from our agency. State Attorney Melissa Nelson, and members of the Bridegan family who have waited for this.
This is his widow here in the blue dress, Kirsten Bridegan. And this is the prosecutor.
Today, for almost a year. On February 16, 2022, Jared Bridegan was driving home from a planned date night with his children. On Wednesday nights, Jared would take his 9-year-old twins to dinner with their 2-year-old half-sister. He had just dropped off his twins at their mother's home and was driving to his own home on a dark area at Sanctuary Boulevard here in Jacksonville Beach. Jared came upon a tire blocking his route of travel. That tire was purposely placed there to make him stop. After putting on his hazard lights and placing his car in park, he opened his door and to presumably move the tire out of the road. It was then that he was gunned down in cold blood. Nothing was stolen from him. His 2-year-old daughter remained strapped in the car seat in the back. This was a planned and targeted ambush and murder. The ruthless homicide has pained our community, and of course, Kirsten and Adam, who are here with us today, along with their brother Justin, and the rest of Jared's family and friends who mourned his death. For almost a year, we have investigated this case, seeking the many questions surrounding Jared's murder, and most importantly, to answer the question, who killed Jared? Just under an hour ago, this man, Henry Tenen, was arrested for the following crimes: conspiracy to commit murder, second degree murder with a weapon, accessory after the fact to a capital felony, and child abuse, all directly related to the murder of Jared. In just a moment, State Attorney Nelson will speak briefly about the charges and what's next for Tenen. However, I will say one additional thing beforehand.
State Attorney.
We asked for the community's help at the outset of this crime, and I want to personally thank everyone who has come forward to offer even the smallest bit of information. We asked for your help to identify a dark-colored F-150 Ford pickup spotted around the crime scene at the time of the shooting. And we sought information about the tire planted in the road that stopped Jared. Thank you again to everyone who stepped up. It was very helpful. We hope to have more answers to provide to you, even if it cannot be today. And with that, State Attorney Nelson will go into the charges in the next steps.
Thank you, Chief. Let me begin by thanking all of the media who has followed this case since its inception. Kirsten, Adam, your wife Carly, your brother Justin. I know this wait has not been easy, but as I just told you, I can attest firsthand to the level of commitment that this department, the Jacksonville Beach Police Department, ATF, and our prosecution team at the State Attorney's Office has devoted to this investigation. Today, we have decided to share limited information about the state's evidence against Henry Tenen. In order to protect the integrity of this ongoing and active investigation, the state has obtained a court order sealing Tenen's arrest warrant and affidavit for the next 30 days. However, I will briefly discuss the 4 crimes for which Tenen has been arrested. Conspiracy to commit murder. We know Henry Tenen did not act alone. Conspiracy to commit murder is a first-degree felony, punishable by up to 30 years in prison. Accessory after the fact to a capital felony. This charge is based on Henry Tenen's actions in the days after Jared's murder. This crime is also a first-degree felony, punishable by up to 30 years in prison. Child abuse. This charge stems from the fact that Kirsten and Jared's then 2-year-old daughter was directly in harm's way when her father was shot and killed in front of her. This is a third-degree felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Second-degree murder. This crime is a first-degree felony, punishable by up to life in prison and due to Henry Tenen's participation in the murder of Jared Bridegan. Tenen will have his first appearance in court tomorrow morning. Thereafter, we will present his case to a grand jury in order to seek an indictment for first-degree murder. This, of course, will carry a punishment of mandatory life in prison.
Thank you, State Attorney Nelson. The last thing I will ask is for this community to continue its vigilance as we move forward with this case. If you have any information about...
So that was the arrest of Henry Tenen. He is a known felon. And I guess he just knew Mario, right? Next, we have Mario. He gets arrested after much work. And so many citizens, like bravo to the Jacksonville citizens who were able to speak up, had the courage, 10 toes deep, full-throated to say, I saw this. They saw something and they said something. There's our state attorney again. And Leo. Same Leo.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for being here today, and thank you to the State Attorney's Office for hosting this significant update in the investigation of the murder of Jared Bridegan. I'm joined here today by members of the Jacksonville Beach Police Department team, the ATF teams from Jacksonville and Orlando, and State Attorney Melissa Nelson and her team. I want to thank all of them for their efforts and cooperation to arrive at this moment for Jared's family, who also join us here today. To briefly recap, on February 16th, 2022, Jared was driving home from a planned routine date night with his children. After dropping off his 9-year-old twins at his ex-wife's residence, he headed home with his 2-year-old daughter in a car in the backseat. While driving on a dark stretch of Sanctuary Boulevard, which he did, tragically, he began to exit his vehicle to move the tire, and he was gunned down in cold blood. We are now 13 months since Jared's murder, and we have not stopped working. In late January, we announced the arrest of Henry Tenen on several charges, including conspiracy to commit murder and second-degree murder. Today, we announced the additional arrest of Mario Fernandez Saldana for several charges related to Jared's murder. With that, I'm going to turn it over to ATF Special Agent Bob Bryson.
Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms is ATF.
My name is Bob Bryson. I'm a group supervisor here in Jacksonville, Florida. On behalf of the U.S. Department of Justice, we're glad to contribute ATF's expertise in violent crime investigations and forensics to help bring closure to a tragic case. Earlier today, ATF agents arrested Mario Fernandez Saldana in Orlando without incident about 9:35 a.m. After his arrest, he was transported to the Orange County Jail. The operation was conducted with Orange County Sheriff's Department, Jacksonville Beach Police Department, and it is a solid example of great collaborative police work. Today's announcement is only possible because of the tireless efforts of our detectives, agents, and the prosecutors. ATF has been a part of this joint effort since day one, and we're glad to contribute our expertise in federal firearms laws and investigating violent gun-related crimes. To be sure, this investigation remains open and will continue. Everyone here shares a commitment to bring those responsible for Jared's murder to justice. Now I'll turn it over to State Attorney Melissa Nelson.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Chief Smith and Special Agent Bryson. My continued thanks to both your and ATF's teams who have worked hand in glove with our team from the very beginning of this investigation to get us here today. This morning, Henry Tenen pled guilty to murdering Jared Bridegan. Specifically, Tenen entered a plea of guilty to second-degree murder with a weapon. Our investigation has revealed a single link between Jared Bridegan and Henry Tenen. That is Mario Fernandez Saldana. As part of Tenen's plea agreement with the state of Florida, he has agreed to testify truthfully against those he worked with to murder Jared Bridegan. As I said at our last update on this matter, we know Henry Tenen did not act alone. And Tenen has confirmed this to be true. Tenen's cooperation has both corroborated evidence collected during the investigation and provided additional evidence against Mario Fernandez Saldana for his role in the planning and execution of Jared's murder. Mario Fernandez Saldana is the husband of Jared Bridegan's ex-wife, Shanna Gardner. Immediately after Tenen's court appearance this morning, the Honorable Linda McCallum signed an arrest warrant for Fernandez Saldana for the charge of second-degree murder. After the warrant was signed, the lead prosecutor on this matter, Assistant State Attorney Christina Stifler, presented Fernandez Saldana's case to a Fourth Circuit grand jury, and the grand jury has returned an indictment charging Fernandez Saldana with first-degree murder. In addition to the first-degree murder charge, the grand jury also has indicted Fernandez Saldana for conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, solicitation to commit a capital felony, as well as child abuse. First-degree murder, this is a capital felony punishable by death or mandatory life in prison. Conspiracy to commit murder. Conspiracy to commit murder is a first-degree felony punishable by up to 30 years in prison. Solicitation to commit a capital felony. This is also a first-degree felony punishable by up to 30 years in prison. Child abuse. As I told you at the last update, this charge stems from the fact that Kirsten and Jared's then 2-year-old daughter was directly in harm's way when her father was shot and killed in front of her. This is a third-degree felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison. This morning, as you've heard, while the grand jury was in session, ATF agents, Jacksonville Beach detectives, and the Orange County Sheriff's Office fugitive apprehension team apprehended and arrested Fernandez Saldana in Kissimmee, Florida. He will be extradited to Duval County and go through first appearance upon his return. Our investigation remains active and ongoing, and it has not stopped today with the arrest of Mario Fernandez Saldana. We all remain committed to seeking the truth, and that is the entire truth, and holding accountable every single individual involved.
So at that point, actually, let's look at that really fast. As I look for this, that is especially cold-blooded that the daughter was in the car. They didn't care. She could have been shot. And I guess Shana and Mario were like, oh, well, not our daughter. Okay, so I'm running short on time. So they announced that there was an grand jury indictment of Shanna. Okay, let's go back to this. I want to show you guys this.
Of the murder of Jared Bridegan on February 16th of 2022 in Jacksonville Beach. I'm joined today by our law enforcement partners, Chief Gene Paul Smith of the Jacksonville Beach Police Department and many of his staff, Special Agent Bob Bryson of ATF Jacksonville, and Jacksonville Beach Mayor Hoffman. We are also joined by Jared's widow, Kirsten, Kirsten's parents, and Jared's brothers, Adam and Justin, and Adam's wife. Thank you for being here today. We promised at the outset of this investigation we would not relent until we uncovered the truth of Jared's murder, the whole and entire truth. This morning, a Fourth Circuit grand jury indicted Shanna Gardner for first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, solicitation to commit first-degree murder, and child abuse, all related to the murder of Jared Bridegan, Shanna's ex-husband. Gardner was arrested shortly after and taken into custody by ATF Washington Field Division agents in West Richland, Washington. Gardner will be extradited to Duval County to face these charges. We will be filing a notice of our intent to seek the death penalty, as we have also done in the case of Mario Fernandez. I cannot stress enough the extraordinary commitment and teamwork of the folks on the stage with me today. The Jacksonville.
I think that is key. I'm running short on time, so I'm gonna go to the next one. But their efforts were quick. I mean, if you compare that to what happened with the Adelsons, and totally, I get it. It's a different group. It's a different time. But I can't underscore enough, like bringing in the FBI and the ATF, how much that helped speed things along, and which is, I think, is important for the kids, for the ex-wife, for the community. This is the heiress getting her new bracelets. I'm not sure who that woman is, but she's crying. At this point, they already know what's going on.
Can I be with the kids, or can you at least bring the kids out to me?
Yeah, we'll have to talk to these officers inside, okay?
I'm here, Shanna. I'm outside.
Marla? It sounds like she's calling out.
Yeah.
If you know, let me know in the comments. Who's Marla? This is ATF. Hopped on planes to come and get her. She, surprise, surprise, fought extradition. I don't know why, but eventually they obviously got her back. So this took a tremendous amount of coordination, right? I think they had the press conference after they announced that because of security reasons. Don't want her escaping. Lord knows she's got enough money to do it. Or her family.
Okay.
And so allegedly during this,
On the Instagram, that was matching for you. You have orders. So just
the little boy asked them what they were looking for. And he was like, burner phones? They're in her closet up there. Something to that effect.
It's gonna be the white vehicle back there.
Oh, Tattoo Sisters.
We'll go to the passenger side.
I think she's 5'9", if you're wondering. Our group is always obsessed with height and weight. Maybe because they're strangers. I would never, in real life, be worried about somebody's... Well, I wouldn't ask them, I guess I should say. I'm sure really tall people just love it when people go, gosh, you're tall. How tall are you?
We're gonna bring you inside real quick. Get you out of the long car, right? Step out for me.
Oh,
We're gonna
I
go through these doors
mighty
over
have fallen. Such satisfaction.
And then there's gonna be a hallway to your left there. Have you take a left there for me? And we'll go down to this last door here on the left. Have you stand there for me? You take a seat over here. And what I'll do, actually, if you want to face the wall for me, just turn the other way. I'll have you take a seat. Turn the other way for me. All right. And then if you want to take a seat for me. No, you're okay. It's not much instructions though.
I feel bad. Do you want me to grab this and put it in the trash?
No, we'll get it for you. That's all right.
Is she trying to get her
Do
DNA?
you want any more water before we go?
She's like, do you want me to put it in the trash?
A little bit left.
So something or another just happened, and oh God, I don't like that.
Good. I'm gonna put your seatbelt on. I'll get you down there. It's hot. So hot, my vehicle can't keep up.
how do you guys wearing all the stuff you guys have to do?
And I'll get you down there so you're at a cuff. I know those are uncomfortable. So just sit tight for me, all right?
So that was that. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Stop playing that. She's yeah. They're seeking the death penalty for both she and Mario, rightfully so. Her legal counsel has contested it. His has not as of yet. And she's asked for bond multiple times. It's been denied. I will cover that in another video. I just want to make sure we're all up to speed on everything that's happening currently. I'll show you one of her requests for bond. Oh, I keep doing that. Oh yeah, wait. All right, so I believe we are here on the matter of Shanna Gardner, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. Andrew Wagley on behalf of the defendant. I just put in a notice of appearance, Your Honor.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Wagley.
Good afternoon.
All right, I do have an advisement that I need to go over with your client before we get started. This was obviously before she got to Jose. All right, you are being held on a fugitive warrant because it is alleged by complaint you have committed a felony in the demanding state. A copy of the complaint outlining the charges should be provided to you. You have the right to require that the demanding state secure a governor's warrant for your return to the demanding state. In the event the demanding state does secure a governor's warrant, the governor of Washington will then issue a formal order authorizing your extradition back to the demanding state. You have the right to seek a writ of habeas corpus challenging the constitutionality of your detention. You also have the right to demand court-appointed counsel at public expense to assist you throughout this process, or you may also retain your own attorney at your own expense. The state of Washington may hold you for up to 90 days. The state may hold you for an initial 30-day period, which may be extended by court order for an additional 60 days. During this hold period, you may be entitled to bail on any non-capital case. No other conditions other than bail and your promise to appear for any future court hearings may be imposed by this court. If this court does not receive a formal order from the governor of the state of Washington, then it must release you within 90 calendar days from today's hearing. So, Mr. Wigley, what is your client's intention today?
Your Honor, at this juncture, we do not anticipate waiving extradition. We want to look into the habeas corpus procedure, and we've asked the court to set a hearing down the line so that we may address that.
And is Ms. Rainey handling this with the state? Mr. Wigley. All right, Mr. Lord.
We're going to ask the court to set a review hearing on September 14th. We have been in contact with the prosecuting attorney's office.
Okay, you guys get it. I don't know. For everything that I've heard, waiving extradition, that most people just do, but I guess they want to drag it all out to keep her there for longer. I mean, to be fair, she would be able to see her children, right, in that jail in Washington versus when she goes to Florida. So in that sense, I mean, I guess I can't fault her, although she didn't care if Jared saw his kids. So, you know, it's hard. They make it hard. All right. So let's check out Mr. Tenen. Born in 1961 in Hawksville, Georgia, in Pulaski County in the central part of the state and north of Macon. He went to Vienna High School and notes on one of his Facebook accounts that he studied at Middle Georgia Technical College. It's unclear when he moved to Jacksonville, but Duval County court records document him there as far back as 91. He was born the 9th of February in 1961, so he just had a birthday. I believe that makes him 64. Let me know if the math is not math. And here's his prior arrest record. I'll just leave that on the screen. Most of those are in Jacksonville, and then he has 2 in 2014 and 2013 in Georgia. So I'm guessing he traveled back and forth, right? You see, those are driving under the influence. So apparently he had a license there. It looks like he does not have a license, or he has a suspended Florida state license. So, and then somewhere on the 13th, he was leaving the scene of an accident with property damage. That is what he was in jail for. So that is why his arrest date was from 2022, because he was already in custody. But then they brought the charges later in 23 for Jared's murder, right? And so he was already there. He's comfortable there, I guess, but it doesn't look like he's done any major prison time. It looks like this is all jail time. And then he's had some probation in there, but that's sort of who he is. It also has, like, when he filled out on some paperwork, he put something pallet company, which it seems, what I'm gathering from reading through the documents, and I've got a lot of documents, we're going to go through some together, not today, but we'll go through them, that part of the deal of his I don't know, his contract, is it a contract, a hit contract, was that they would set up this company, this pallet company for him. They would give him $150,000 to set it up. It doesn't seem like that ever happened. But so for the most part, he's usually listed as unemployed or self-employed, which, you know, a lot of people do that in this day and age, right? Okay, I have to go and get Sugar Bear and I don't want to be rushed. So I'm going to end this here. This will be part 1. And then, yeah, we're at 43 minutes. This will be part 1. And then when I get back, I'll do part 2 and I'll probably run them in a premiere back to back. But it's a lot, right? There's so many things going on. So those 2 are getting the death penalty. Henry recently is technically recanting his story. All he did is say on the record false testimony, which that triggered a possible recantation. And so no, everybody's kind of tiptoeing around it. Nobody's really addressed it. And his attorney asked to be like let off. But I will get into all that in part 2. Let me know down below. What do you think so far? It's interesting, right? It's an interesting case. And like I said, I really like the widow. She's strong. She's been there. She's not afraid to cry in public, which is, she's in touch with her vulnerability. I always respect that. Let me know what your thoughts are so far. We don't have a court date yet. As far as trial, we don't have a trial date, but there's lots of hearings. We've got a little bit of time, so I can catch you up on a couple of hearings. I promised funeral potatoes. There's a hearing where that comes up. I definitely want to show you that and get your opinion on that, because methinks the lady doth protest too much, but we'll get there when we get there. All right. I'll see you in a little bit. Toodles.